Alright, so here we're inside the cab of my John Deere R3048 sprayer. I showed you guys a walk around outside of kind of everything outside the sprayer and how the tank works and the spray system works. A link to that video will be in the description, so go check that out too. So now that we're up in the cab, it's pretty similar controls as to what you'd kind of imagine. You know, we have a steering wheel here. I've got it in the up position, so I can put it down when we're ready to go, and when I need to get out or need some space, I'll just put it up. Might be hard to see on the column here. We've got a screen that's got different tractor and engine information, RPM, speed, gears, fuel levels, def level, things like that. Up here we've got typical stereo, ceiling vents. Under here is actually a special filter. It's a HEPA filter, so it's constantly circulating the air in the cab and cleaning it out from dust, as well as making sure that a lot of chemical. There's a filter up out there too that takes the air from outside and cleans it before it even comes into the cab. Kind of nice shade there. And here's kind of where the brains of everything is. This joystick here is what controls the function of where the sprayer is going, the hydraulic controls for the boom, lifting, the gears and such. So here we've got my gears for the drive train. So as I'm driving, I can go up or down gears here. These, you can kind of see a little picture here. That's my boom. So this is the left side and this is the right. And so if I push this button here, you'll see it raises that boom up, and I can put it down. This one here is the whole boom. So these are just the wings, the left wing and the right wing. This is going to lift the entire boom from the middle where it connects to the tractor. So if I push that up, see the entire thing lifts up. Push it down, the whole thing goes down. These buttons here I don't really use, but some guys do. What it'll do is it will turn nozzle sections on and off. So if you watched my other video, I kind of showed you how there's different sections that are controlled on the boom. This allows it to kind of turn only some nozzles on and off at will or automatically. This lets you do it on one way for you to do it kind of manually instead of automatically. This is the actual spray button here. If I push that while the pump is on, it'll start spraying. I push that to turn it off. And then this is how we get it out of park. And then I can, if I do this, start moving backwards. If I push it forwards, you guessed it, we move forwards. The farther I push it, the faster I go. This controls my throttle. So right now I'm on the turtle. I can go up or down in throttle speeds, or just to the highest speed right here. That's the speed I need if I'm going to be operating, driving down the road or spraying or doing any sort of work. So if I press that, you can kind of hear the engine revs up. My RPMs go up. And at idle, I put it back down. These here are programmable buttons. You can program them to do different functions. These here for those markers. In the other video I showed you, if you want to either use them as markers, or we have them set up as extra spray nozzles. So what these will do is I have a nozzle on the very end of the wing that sprays a fence line, so it kind of sprays outward rather than down. So if I want to, I can click that on, and then if I'm going along like these fence lines here, I can then spray outward that way too, to get application there. These control, actually, which is really neat, we don't do it, but some guys that do for hire have to move the wheels. It actually moves the wheels in and out. And the reason they do that is because you want your wheels to be between the rows of crops. So we plant our rows 30 inches apart, right? Some guys plant them at different variations, 22 inches, for example. So you can bring your tires in or put them out to make sure that your tires always fit between the person's rows, or the rows in the field you're in. This here is an automatic button for my automatic ladder. So you can see the ladder's up, because while we're transporting, you want it up and out of the way so it's not hitting the crop. If I push this button down, I can manually make that thing go down if someone needs to come up here. It'll also automatically go down if I'm in park and I get up out of the seat, because then it thinks, hey, I'm gonna leave, so it'll automatically go down for me. Over here, we just have our kind of comfort controls for temperature, the vents that are on. Here's my lights to turn on the lights, hazard lights when I'm driving, some music controls, a push to talk, so if I want to use Bluetooth, there's Bluetooth for my phone. These buttons pertain to the screen here. I'll get to that in a second. And then these here are all my different sections in the wings. So there's a center one, and then on the left and right wing, we have 5 different sections that I can turn on and off. So when it's lit up, it means it's on, which means that it will spray. If I press that, that means that that one section at the very end of that right wing won't spray. If I need to, I can press that button to turn them back on. So here's kind of the brains, or part of the brains of the whole thing. This is our John Deere 2630 screen. So this is mounted onto the armrest here. But this is where all the software lives. So here's the status of my sprayer, how much water I have in each section, as I just discussed. And then you don't see it now, but there's a blue triangle underneath each one when it's actively spraying. And then as I spray, you can kind of see where I sprayed and not sprayed. That paints in so I can see visually where it's been applied and where it hasn't. This light bar at the top kind of pertains to these lines. You see them, they're green, and then there's a white one. That's part of my GPS. That's telling me that I'm right on the current line that it's steering me on. And then if I get off that line, either way, it will start to kind of light up these bars, and it will tell me how many inches I'm off. These buttons let me kind of shift that back and forth, and then this is how I can turn the auto steer on and off on the screen itself. However, there are buttons right around here that are programmable, and so each one of those is programmed to a specific function in the screen. One of them actually turns the auto steer on. So if I pull it out of gear and I push the button, bloop, it gives me a red or a green A, which means it is auto on. If I put it in park, it automatically turns it off because I'm no longer driving. This is my boom track system. So in that other video, I discussed how we have these radar sensors on parts of the boom so it knows how high it is. This is telling me actively how many inches each one of those sections is off the ground, and that I have it set to ground. When it's lit up green, that means I actually have the system on. If I manually lift it, it turns it off, and then they turn white. The white tells me that it's ready, but it's not on. If I press the programmable button here, now it's green, and it will go to reconfigure. I have it set, I believe, at 25 inches. Let's see. So I hit boom track here. Gives me the status of all of my sensors, and I have it set at 25 inches. And that A, just like with the auto steer, is telling me that it is ready to rock and roll, and I can use the auto system and that it's on. This is my field that I'm in. So the client that I'm doing it for, their farm, the field. The tracking mode is the type of steering that it auto does. There's different options. It's not always straight. Some allow you to do curved automatic steering or circles, if you've seen fields that are round. And down south, they have more of those. So then instead of going in straight lines, you can go in a circular line. And then again, GPS information there for the auto steer and my signal. And of course, there's loads. I could do a whole video on all the different functions that are a part of this. But this just has to do with the equipment, the different guidance settings, and mapping settings, so you can see my field, that I have the boundary, and then how much I've sprayed, how much is left. And then here, this is really nice. My totals will tell me how much I have left, how much I've worked, how much I'm doing per hour, how much time is spent. So if I was doing this for hire, I could then look at my fuel usage and then charge the person based on how much fuel I used, how long it took, things of that nature. So that kind of about sums it up for what's in the cab here. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. And like always, thanks for watching.